Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Journey Center Stories and Conversations. I am with my friends, Jennifer and Daniel. They are community members here in Lindale, and just wanted to invite them along to share with you their stories and their interactions with the Journey Center. I know you guys from almost the very beginning of the Journey Center, so I'm super excited to
Yeah.
ask you guys questions because you guys have seen it from the beginning. And then you've also experienced different things along our journey as the Journey Center. I kind of want to start with you, Daniel, because like you were my first conversation in all of this. Um, just share with everybody just how you share your story and interact with the Journey Center.
Yeah, so what year was it? This was
2023.
2023. Um, I had just finished my EP and posted it online. So this
Mm-hmm.
had to have been sometime at the beginning of the summer, maybe end of the spring. And then I had put some pictures of my recording studio on Facebook, and you had seen it and shared it, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
So
we connected on Facebook,
yes.
and talked, and you were asking about the studio, and then I had seen the Journey Center. You shared with Journey Center what the Journey Center was, and Jen and I came up there and he gave us a tool and just got to share the whole vision, and then your testimony of how it all came to be. And right from the beginning, we just became friends, and just wanted to, you know, s- just really just see each other's stories and how God was just going to, align us all and just continue just to like grow in the community. And
Yeah.
that's whole summer. You and I and Caleb all got together, and we talked about getting together and doing Ignite, and that happened, and that was super cool. Just getting to hang out with you guys that whole summer, and seeing all these youth kids just get to know Jesus more and get to worship together, and that was really cool. And um so that
That was a
was
whirlwind of a summer, by the way. That was
that
like
was
that was a 5 week turnover. You realize that, right? Like
I didn't
we
realize it
planned
was
that
that
thing from
quick.
yes, it was so quick. Like we had planned this youth rally. So for those of you who are not familiar with Ignite Youth Rally that we started back in 2023, um, this happened in like a 5 week. The Lord gave us vision. We're gonna do this. We're gonna gather youth together, and Daniel's gonna lead the music, and he's gonna pump out T-shirts, and we're gonna go crazy.
It was
So
crazy because Jen
yeah,
and I had just started Beauty and the Freak at that time, so we were doing t-shirts, and you were like, "Hey, I need hundreds of t-shirts," and we were used to doing like 20 at a time, and we were like, "Whoa, hundreds? Okay, let's go." Doing that, and then the first and only
stretching.
time I'd ever done FRK live, which was crazy.
Yeah,
Um, and then just going from, I was just a guitarist. I've always just really just been a guitar player.
yeah.
And you saw something different, which was really cool. And God showed you something different.
Hmm.
So, months later, you had reached out to me asking if I would lead worship at Hearts and Hands, who was a part of the Journey Center. And I was
Yeah.
like, nah, I'm just a guitar player. I'm not a worship leader. And you're like, no, don't put God in the box. You're a worship leader. And I was like, no, like I like being in the back. I like just playing guitar, jumping around, just being me. That's how I worship. Don't put a microphone in front of me. And you're like, okay, cool. I just wanted to ask. And then for that, the rest of that weekend, God just hammered me. And I remember driving to church that Sunday morning for practice and just pulling over on the side of the road and being like, all right, God, what? Like, you've been hammering me all week. What is this about? And I just got this download of do not put yourself in a box. You're a worship leader. Do not try to tell me who I have created you to be, who I say that you are. You are who I told you you are. And I'm just bawling on the side of the road. And I texted you back, and I was like, I'll do it. I'll lead worship. And so the first time getting to lead worship was at Hearts and Hands. And it grew me into the worship leader that I am now. Some weeks I'm getting to lead 3 times a week now, and it just never stopped. And I got this. just this love for worship and this intimacy with Christ that I would have never found, on my
Yeah.
own, without being pushed and without hearing the Lord. So it's just part of a testimony that I love getting to share of just, don't ever put yourself in a box. God's got a plan for all of us. And,
Yeah.
sometimes it takes a friend, to push us out, to just push us out of our comfort zone. And I got to lead there for a year. Every Thursday morning I was there getting to lead worship with them. And they were such an encouraging group of people,
Yeah.
that I fell in love with, what they do at the Journey Center, with getting to see these kids like get their GEDs and just learn like all the things that they get to do there, like with their job skills and everything. It's really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. I love that. I love how you were obedient
Mhm.
to
Yeah.
that voice, and it wasn't my voice. I was just asking the question.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of like the beginning of our relationship, as friends, is just like just asking a question. Hey, like, have you thought about this? Just you know,
Yeah.
and that's how it's been, is like, the whole story of the Journey Center has been one question after another, leading into, even Jen, like your story. Like, tell us a little bit about your interactions. I mean, you're watching your husband,
Mhm.
blossom and thrive, and you've seen him like take huge steps
Huge.
out of his boxes
Oh yeah.
in so many
It,
areas. I feel like what was that like for you? And then like share a little bit about your, exposure to everything.
yeah. I think, gosh, I guess it was right about all the same time. He introduced me to you within days of meeting, having the tour and so forth. Um, there was something about your spirit in the way that you, look, I'm already going to get emotional. I'm sorry. but, but just in the way that
It's an
you,
emotional story. It takes all
Yeah.
of us so much to
it
love
That
it.
does,
you went
but
like you
just the
went
way
like
that
10 seconds without crying. Good job.
hey, I've been here a whole 7 minutes, okay? But truly, just you listening to the Holy Spirit and just letting it prompt you and guide you, and ask the tough questions. Ask the questions of, why haven't you thought of this? So to see someone that didn't know us prior to this random event pushing us and challenging us and to be better, to do more, to serve to our full potential is huge. I think the Journey Center really opened up our world in knowing that there's other like-minded people, outside of the walls that we worship in. There are other people out there who worship in different buildings, but we're serving the same God in the same community. And to know that we can all come together regularly outside of that time and just love on each other and love on these kids and provide resources and such for those who have no other way, or it's it's so beautiful. It's great. Um, I didn't get to be, I'm not involved in everything like firsthand. So I get to sit back and watch it all. I get to see all the pieces fall into place. I get to see how everyone's communicating and working together. And it's so beautiful. And to see from the very beginning to where it is now, it's
Yeah.
insane. It's insane. But when you first told us your vision, and there was no doubt that that was needed here. No doubt that this community needed that, needed someone to bring us all together because we have so many resources. We just didn't know how to find them. And you've been created that hub for us, and it's great. And even beyond seeing Ignite and beyond seeing what it's done for my husband, what it's done for me has been on such a deeper, more personal, intimate level that I mean, you're affecting lives all across the board in every aspect. Um, for me, I really got plugged into the Journey Center through, and I'm going to say it wrong, the what is it?
Microcurrent neurofeedback.
Yes, I always switch that up. Um, but that's really what got me walking in the doors regularly. Um, I had suffered from migraines. I was diagnosed in 2017 with severe migraines with an aura. I had been tested for everything. I had had all the scans, I'd had MRIs. I was even tested for MS. They did a spinal tap on me, all the things. They couldn't figure it out. So finally, the neurologist was like, yeah, we'll just say it's migraines and treat you for all the symptoms. And so I've just been treating symptoms. By the time I walked into your doors, I was on medication for antidepressants, anti anxieties. I was on heart medication. I was on blood pressure medication. I was on medication to help me sleep. I
Yeah.
was on medication to help me function throughout the day. I was taking monthly injections to keep migraines at bay. I had emergency medications, not to mention all the other things I did, like keeping the lights dim, keeping the house cool, ice packs. It just, I couldn't function like a normal human being should. And the first time, the first session I had, I immediately felt a difference. And I think it was my third or fourth session. Michaela came in with me, my daughter. And which one was the third?
The third one. Mm-hmm.
She came in with me and you were asking me how it was. And I was like, I think it's good. I feel better. Like, I think it's going well. And she, of course, chimed in and said, no, it's real good. Mom's not having to go hide in a dark room.
That was the kicker for me. I'm sorry. I felt
Oh,
a heart when she told me that, and that has been the one thing that has stayed with me when she said that.
I mean, it literally changed my life and the life of my kids. I mean, regularly, multiple times a week, I'd have to go hide in my bed, just as dark and quiet as I could have it, just so I could stand to function the next day enough to get through.
Yeah.
Suffering from migraines and stuff all the time. But as of today, I have not taken my migraine injection for, well, October will be a full year since I've had it. I don't even carry emergency medication with me anymore. I
That's
haven't
faith.
had I haven't had a migraine. I haven't had to go lock myself in a dark room or any of that. I don't think I've done it at all this year, for sure this year in the last 6 months, and it may have even been longer prior to that. I mean, it's from a health and wellness standpoint, my life is completely different. I can function. I have energy. I have my brain works normal now most of the time. There's so many things. I mean, yes, it impacted me, but it's impacting my husband and my ability to support
Yeah.
him and our household. Our girls, I get to go out and play in the pool with them, or help them with their sports, and just to function and just be there and be present in life. It's I don't even have the words.
I'm watching your face, Daniel, as you're listening to your wife who's sitting in the other room, and like seeing like tears even well up in you, like seeing her express just the freedom that she has experienced,
Oh yeah.
just from something that was available here at the Journey Center. And,
Yeah.
I have goosebumps because I personally treated you, and like hearing like your story and the freedom that you experienced from a physical standpoint. That was why I started doing it. It's because, when people come in the doors, I get to share with them the resources, and then they walk out, and then I don't know what happens. But when
Yeah.
you have a friend that's suffering, and then you watch them go from a place where they are almost just defeated on a daily basis and having to overcome in a physical sense that pain and that irritation and that frustration and that thing that causes so much stress in your household because you can't function like, freely. And then going from that to like going to play outside with your kids, just like what you would see as like a normal life, like is just incredible. Like I'm doing my best to not choke, up tears, because it's like it's an incredible thing to witness what God has done in your family. And I've had the front row seat eating popcorn and watching it happen.
Yeah.
It really has been a blessing to walk with you guys and to build that level of trust, and seeing you guys walk in freedom in very different but very similar ways, and how that has affected your family, how that has affected your joy, how that has affected your marriage and your communication and your strength in one another. Like my whole heart is for family, and I love seeing your family thrive because of what you've experienced. So, oh man, like I don't know where we go from here other than, I love you guys so much, and I'm thankful for you and for what God is doing, continually,
Yeah.
in your lives. So,
And we love you too, Erica. And we thank
Very
you for
much.
just being our cheerleader too, and
Mhm.
yeah,
we'll always continue to, you know, try to just bless the Journey Center as much as we can and just be there for you guys and
thank
partner any way that we can.
you.
Um, how many how many treatments did you do, Jennifer, of the micro neuro head stuff? Whatever it's called.
Yeah.
MCN. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, 8 or 10.
Yeah, it was between 8 or 10. I know that the last time I saw you like in clinic, it was the week before Thanksgiving. So I mean, we're sitting in, beginning of July,
Wow.
and you haven't been
Yeah.
back.
No.
And like you've attempted, you're like, oh, maybe I should go in for maintenance, or something like that, or a
Yeah.
booth. But like you haven't walked through the door for that. But it has been since the week before Thanksgiving. And I'm like, every
Wow.
month that goes by, I'm just like, this is incredible. This is incredible, and it's just that tangible thing that I can hold on
Oh,
to
yeah.
say like this has worked. And it hasn't worked for everyone, but it worked for you. And
Mhm.
Yeah.
like when I can see those victories, it just fuels the fire in me to say, look at what God has done,
Yeah.
through this technology. And even with you, Daniel, look what God has done. Like He's
Yeah.
taken you from somebody who like got saved, started his own studio, started writing music for his glory, put you in front of a crowd of young people who had no idea who you were,
Yeah.
put you in front of a little class of 12 people maybe, and, you know, taught you smallest parts of Lindale how to recognize your calling in this
Yeah.
Mhm.
worship setting, and how to lead people, even in the smallest of settings. No
Yeah.
lights, no flashes, nothing fancy. And you were
Yeah.
able to take that to your church. You were able to take that beyond the walls of even this place. And now, like, I'm excited for what you're going to be starting soon, too. So, share a little bit about what you're going to be starting.
Yeah. So right now, as you can see behind me, there's no doors because I've got a buddy that is making new doors for the studio so that they'll be able to, shut and keep the sound in here. But yeah, I'm going to be starting the listening room. That'll be in here. It's going to be music and studio therapy. So this will be as far as I understand, this is a first in the world studio therapy. I can't find anything online for it, but it's something that I've actually been doing for years with
Mm,
people, but just didn't have a name to it. And that's when, people come here and we talk, we fellowship, and then they get behind the microphone and they get to record and they get to worship or they get to songwrite and just in the be in a studio in the most therapeutic way,
mhm,
um, to whether that's to, whatever their goal is, and that could be just to build, broaden their relationship with Christ, get over some hurt,
yeah,
just deal with some pain, deal with some heartache, whatever that is. It's almost like getting a tattoo. That's
mhm,
that's how it's so therapeutic and it's so just sometimes it's just getting the guitar out, sometimes it's playing a different instrument, sometimes it's getting behind the microphone, and sometimes it's
yeah,
songwriting. So
mhm.
that will be here hopefully in the next few months. I'll be opening the doors here and be able to share my vision out here hopefully in the next couple of months.
I love that. We'll probably have to have another gathering on
Yeah.
here to be able to share more about what God's doing in your ministry. And I
Mhm.
think that that's one thing that I like to ask is, why do you feel like the Journey Center should exist and why it should continue to exist, and how do you bring other people to know about it? What are some of those things?
I know for me, um, I think the journey does exist and should exist because it provides a safe space for people to come in, be vulnerable, and accept help when help is offered. And that's not always easy. Our pride tends to get in the way, or we just don't know where to go. And so, just having a safe space where they can come in, they feel the love of Christ the minute they walk in the door, and then through every aspect that anyone who's there, whatever it is that they're needing, whatever resources they're going to, it is Christ centered, and it's such a beautiful and like soft landing place. I think it should continue because it's just going to grow from here. I mean, just from what
Yeah.
we've seen in 2023 to now is,
Yeah.
I mean, it blows my mind. God is so good and does so many wonderful things. It's just beyond any of our comprehension of what he's done and what he can do and what he'll continue to do. And even just having things like the listening room, adding that into there, or who knows what else could come, but just allowing all of those safe places, all those extra little parts of the body just to um, provide places for people to go, whether it's to help or to get the help that they need. It's just it's exactly where it should be, when and why it should be.
Mm-hmm.
Think you
Yeah.
hit it. I like what you said is, I think it's the place to go when you don't know where to go.
Yeah.
You're going to be able to point whether where they need to go is there in that specific building or not, you can point them where to go. And that's
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's really funny. The reason why, and this kind of towards the beginning of the conversation when you talked about how we connected on Facebook. I don't know if I shared this part with you. I probably did. When I first thought about what I would do with $50 million if I had it, was I created this center, and in that
Hmm.
center was the studio. And I was
Yeah.
like, and I told you about, I was like, if I could add anything to this place, it would be a studio. Well, you already had it. And you're like
Yeah.
right down the road from us.
Right,
So
right across the street.
I was like, do you understand what you've just done? It's like, you just shown me that the Journey Center is not just like a building. Like the Journey
Yeah.
Center is everywhere. Like
Mm-hmm.
you are taking a ministry in your own location, and I get to point people to it, and
It's
we
cool.
are connected. And I trust you, and there is this beautiful friendship and trust built where I'm like, because I know you exist,
Mm.
and because people come into the Journey Center asking the questions, I can point people directly to the right places, And so
Yeah.
there's just, like you said, Jenna, is like, it's just ever growing. Like we started out with 10 ministries in February of 23, and now we're about to launch the 20th, And so
Wow.
in 2 years, God has literally doubled, our just in-house ministries. And like, we're living in kind of like a kingdom economy because our bills actually keep shrinking, which is really interesting. And I'll share a
Wow.
little bit with you about that, later. But it's just what God is doing, and having this vantage point of watching Him like create these spaces is mind blowing to me. And I just get to witness it. And I get to have interactions with the people that are doing it. And I'm like, I'm just so excited to share. And like you said, Daniel, I am your guys' biggest cheerleaders. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love watching people thrive, and I pray that that these stories that we're sharing are going to inspire other people to get involved and to see what God has for them, and ask the questions that what are the possibilities? What has God placed me in this time, in this moment in history, for such a time as this, to show His glory off?
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure there's some songs in there, that I need
Yeah.
to write, but
There's quite a few
I'll
good
be in
lyrics in
I'll be in
there.
the living room at some point. Jen and I'll be crying in the background as you're, wailing or something like that. I don't know. But I can't imagine what the next years are going to be like. And I pray so many blessings over you guys and for continued favor in all that you put your hands to.